Prelude. I start with a quote from Rachel Carson. We stand now where two roads diverge, but unlike the roads in Robert Frost's familiar poem, they are not equally fair. The road we have long been traveling is deceptively easy, a smooth superhighway on which we progress with great speed, but at its end lies disaster. The other fork in the road, the one less traveled by, offers our only chance to reach a destination that assures the preservation of our Earth. Walking a road less traveled by. We walk under a green canopy. For humans, walking is a mode of transportation and a medium is natural. Its pace is natural, especially compared to flight or driving a car. Unlike motorized transport, there's no obvious machine mediating the walker from the soil. Beneath my feet, I remain connected to soil, to dirt, to small plants, to Mother Earth, to life. Walking on pavement, a hiking trail, and grass each generate distinctive sounds. How should my sound, my life, blend with nature? Do my feet and heartbeat synchronize to the rhythms of nature? Birds sing above and insects below, musicking without and within. Walkers can and often do talk with others, and convivial sounds become a part of an activity humankind has repeated for hundreds of thousands of years, since well before evolving into Homo sapiens. These sounds make an inconsequential musicking activity, too often repeated to notice, except that music teachers and students do not often walk together. Certainly, band directors direct marching band students left, right, left, right. But just walking together is atypical, and simply being out of doors together is uncommon in music education. On this particular July day, I was walking with youth chorale students during their yearly summer music camp at a park outside of rural West Milton, Pennsylvania. Like my hometown in Patton, this park contained green deciduous and coniferous trees, songbirds, squirrels, and deer. Both places are populated by rural people, townfolk and farmers, who modern industrial society ignores or forgets. Valerie invited me to guest teach this session. Inspired by the eco-music concepts I was forming, I was repairing detached aspects of my life. I was joining my loves of hiking and music, combining countless hours spent toiling in practice rooms to childhood hours spent idly in Prince Gallitzin State Park, linking music education philosophy to ecological literacy. A fork in the road was turned on its head, converging to draw two parts of myself together. Of course, I was a little nervous about this session. Though I had thought about and theorized eco-literate music pedagogy, I had yet to try it in the real world. As we walked and talked, my butterflies dissolved step by step in the delightful soundscape. Cicadas, sparrows, chickadees, cardinals, and the wind's crescendo through the leaves above soothed my fears, and I reflected on the activities I had planned. A listening meditation to feel this place's rhythm, echoing the songs in nature using singing voices, and co-composing music using these melodies and organic found sounds. By the time we arrived at Sylvan Chapel, a cement and brick altar with pews in the woods, I was in a calm state of mind, suitable for teaching and learning. I walked to the altar. Am I a priest or teacher? Asked the students to close their eyes and listen, and in this simple, natural, ecological, true place, we took our first steps. Introduction. A month before guest lecturing, I went to the woods for inspiration. Walking in the woods, I desired coherence. Coherence among the wild, uncultivated musics of non-human animals, and nature enveloping me since my youth, and my anthropocentric, human-centered music teaching practice. Without knowing to where I would walk, my legs took me towards eco-literate music pedagogy. This walking began in February 2015 just after completing my doctoral dissertation. There is something freeing about completing such a large project. Free from work, and in the habit of writing daily, walking became a jog and then a sprint. Inspired by deep ecology and ecofeminism, ecomusicology and ecological literacy, I wrote a short philosophical paper outlining possible directions for ecology and music education praxis. And that's in Topics for Music Education Praxis. It's called The Possibility of Eco-literate Music Pedagogy, published in 2015. Presenting this study at a conference, I met a music teacher who invited me to explore these concepts at a youth choir camp. This camp, which I have taught at twice at the time of the writing, afforded a wonderful opportunity to share these ideas with the world outside my own mind, where possibilities were transforming into practice. In this book, I reveal the eco-literate music pedagogy that I have attempted since beginning this walk. As an academic, I have attempted to include scholarship and personal experiences. While this book cannot hope to provide a full description of these experiences, it provides a map, an imperfect map, but also a longing, searching, and hopefully thoughtful map. This prelude introduces readers to the concept of eco-literate music pedagogy. The historical precedents for the concept began in time immemorial and found institutional beginnings in the 1920s with Sadis Coleman's once popular creative music method. Her pedagogy drew from nature as a source of inspiration for classroom music activities. In the 1970s, R. Murray Schafer's soundscape provided a rationale for the sounds of places becoming an object of study in music classrooms. However, neither of these historical precedents gained wide appeal in the music education profession. I have struggled with why this is. It may be due to music education's move from progressive to aesthetic ideals in the mid-20th century, or it may be an anthropocentric valuing of composers above the possibility of non-human musics. Perhaps the lack of eco-literate music pedagogy is a result of an institutionalized avoidance of ecological realities, or perhaps a result of institutionalized patriarchy. Ecofeminists have drawn connections between the unjust dominations of women in nature. Activist Judy Berry in 1994 wrote, "It is the hatred of feminine, which is the hatred of life, that has helped bring about the destruction of the planet. And it is the strength of women that can restore the balance we need to survive." An awareness of music education as a patriarchal institution might help us reestablish Sadis Coleman's insights to live well in our place and address ecological crises. As a patriarchal institution, music education has had a blind faith in unsustainable technological fixes, synchronized to Rachel Carson's insight into blind faith in DDT in her day. More recent calls for environmental sustainability in music education by Vincent C. Bates, Charlene A. Morton, and Julia Eklund-Koza seem not to be widely heeded, leading to the current book's guiding questions. In previous work, I introduced music education for ecological consciousness and ecological literacy, including an essential structure. I use this essential structure, shared later in this prelude, to make pedagogical choices. Reflective writing, a staple of environmentalism since Thoreau, is used to introduce autoethnographic writing in music education and the current method, philosophy/autoethnography. Though this composite term is unique to this book, philosophy autoethnography, makes explicit the personal nature of writing environmental philosophy. If postmodernism is generally understood as skepticism towards meta-narratives, philosophy autoethnography provides a subjective approach to theoretical questions in line with the postmodern and ecological challenges. I explain the method which led to reflections such as walking a road less traveled by and fictional creative vignettes. Each chapter of this book begins with a reflection, includes a vignette, and ends with a poem. This represents the analysis and findings of this philosophy autoethnography. Creative vignette. After class at the school garden, a veteran teacher puts her hand in the soil. Cooling, yielding, between her fingers, the soil is well hoed and watered. Life abounds below and above each flower. Below, bacteria, fungi, algae, and earthworms make the soil a living thing. Bees buzz above this corner of the garden, with the orange mums, rosy autumn joys, purple turtle heads, and soaring above them all, tall yellow sunflowers, has become her favorite. It is a sanctuary of sights, scents, and sounds. It is a sanctuary from the fast-paced, test-driven place of schooling inside. This garden recalls her to childhood, spending long afternoons with her grandmother gardening, watering plants, learning about soil and seeds, and pulling weeds. Gardens teach much about life. The garden was then and continues to be an education in living and loving on soil. It teaches what it means to live well in place, to balance culture and nature, to become a sustainable part of a local ecology. She wants her students to experience this. She hopes her pedagogy provides an opportunity for them to cultivate deep connections with soil. The bees, so crucial to each flower's growth, gently buzz around her, pulling weeds by root and emptying the school's rain barrel, watering flowers. She led her students to a discussion about bees buzzing, how it's a natural result of flying, how buzzing becomes more aggressive when bees feel threatened, how that buzzing is important to flower pollination. The buzzing of bees is a song of life, guaranteeing new beauty each year. The touching of soil and the sounds of the garden teach the gardener how to live and love. We'll continue the chapter from there next time.